Hello friends, followers and channel members, welcome back to the channel and another video in the Airbus A320. Now in our video today I'm going to address a question that I get asked several times a week, and this is surrounding the autopilot of the Airbus A320, and in particular why can't you engage the autopilot, or the autopilot keeps turning itself off and I can't get it to come back on. Now there are 2 or 3 issues why this might be the case. We're going to have a look at all of those in the video today. One of them is to do with your simulator itself and the way that that is set up with its controls. The other one, I'm afraid to say, is usually down to pilot error, but not to worry, we're going to have a look at that and explain what the issue is, and if you experience an issue with the autopilot and not being able to get it back on, how to get yourself out of that situation and flying with the autopilot safely again. Now, I want to try and make this video as short as possible, so let's get cracking. Okay, so the first scenario we're going to take a look at is an issue with the simulator. Now, this can be obviously Flight Sim 2020 or Flight Sim 2024. I'm currently using Flight Sim 2024, so I'm going to show you what could potentially cause an issue with the autopilot not allowing you to engage it. The first thing is your controls. One of the things that you'll need to do is go to your settings menu, and from there have a look at your controls. And if any input is being fed into your PC, the elevators, the ailerons, the rudder, or anything like that, if an input is being put into your aircraft, the autopilot will not activate. So what you'll need to do, depending on what hardware you've got set up, so if I have a look at my Thrustmaster side stick, then all I'm going to do is search by input. Now at the moment the PC is now waiting for me to basically press something or move an axis on my side stick. So if I now press that and then move the side stick, there you can see that it is automatically picking up just the fact that I've moved it, the nose wheel steering axis, and if I do that again, a different axis, or if I press a button or something like that, it'll flash up and say what it is. And all you're looking for is any inputs that are inadvertently being triggered by your hardware. Now you can search by input as well in Flight Sim 2020 using the settings page. If you want to see everything that is currently mapped to your hardware, be it your rudder pedals if you have them, your throttle quadrant, or obviously the side stick joystick that you're using, then in the case of your side stick, go to your flight control surfaces and just have a quick scan down once you've opened them all out to see that any that are actually mapped are the ones that you want them to be mapped to. For instance, we obviously want an aileron axis and an elevator axis on a side stick. That makes sense. But if by mistake something had been mapped to say set vertical speed or center your ailerons or aileron left, these would be inputs that you probably wouldn't be aware had been bound in your simulator. And if you have any input being fed to your aircraft, you can't actually engage the autopilot. Have a look. So as you can see at the moment, the autopilot is not on, and if I just zoom out so you can see the side stick at the moment, if I pull the side stick over to the right, or even just have some sort of input as I've got on now, if I try and put the autopilot on, I'm clicking away, trying to put the autopilot on, instantly it's coming on and disconnecting, and that is because I am putting some controls in there, and then I'm getting an alarm to tell me that the autopilot has been disconnected. In fact, if I just cancel that master warning here and down on the center pedestal, if I have the autopilot on again, and then if we just have a look at this, and if I move my side stick over to the left, and then eventually aircraft will start to roll, autopilot gets knocked off with that input, and we get an alarm telling me that the autopilot is off. So that's one of the reasons that could be causing an issue with your autopilot not being able to be engaged, because your sim is receiving an input signal from your rudder pedals or your side stick, anything like that. Now that is obviously a sim issue. Next we're going to have a look at a pilot issue. Okay, so here we are at 4,000 feet, shortly after takeoff. We're on autopilot and we're just following a heading, 4,000 feet, and we have been then given an instruction by air traffic control to climb. So let's say they've told us that we're clear to climb up to flight level 200. That's fine. So what we do is then we pull open climb, and we have the auto thrust on, we have the autopilot on, and you may decide to use the VS to climb. So basically you want to climb at a nice fast rate. Why not get up to your cruising altitude quicker? So we're going to climb at I don't know, 3,300 feet per minute. So we're now using the VS in order to climb, which is okay. Down here at a lower altitude there's lots of air around, so the engines have got good performance, and that climb we can actually make that and it'll be fine. However, watch what happens over time if we continue to climb at this rate as we get higher and higher. Now what the aircraft will do is it will prioritize this speed, this vertical speed, over anything else, which means it doesn't matter what happens, the autopilot is going to command that you climb at 3,300 feet per minute regardless of anything else. It is not taking into account your speed, so even though your speed is set to target 250 knots, it's not going to worry about that, and eventually the higher up we get with thinner air and where the performance of the engines isn't as good as it is down below, our speed is slowly going to start dropping away. I'll just speed this up and we can take a look. The aircraft's angle of attack will get higher and higher as it struggles to maintain that high rate of climb for the aircraft at the high altitude. This high rate of climb at the high altitude, the weight of the aircraft, the speed will start to bleed off. Okay, so as you can see, the aircraft doesn't care about the speed. All it cares about is targeting 3,300 feet per minute. We're getting really high now, and it's about to start to really struggle, and our speed is dropping dangerously low. The Airbus then has built-in protections, the alpha protections, and this then is what in a moment is going to cause our autopilot to disconnect to prevent the aircraft from stalling. So we'll just watch this play out. You can see we're in the danger zone at the moment. As soon as we get down here, then we're going to hear the alarms go off, and what you should notice is at the top left here we're going to get the display showing toga lock, meaning that the aircraft has locked the thrust at toga, the maximum power it can deliver. Here we go. Alright, so first of all we get Alpha 4. There is the alarm saying autopilot has been turned off, and let me just silence those alarms. So we've silenced that, and yeah, what we've got now is toga lock, and people will then try and get the autopilot back on. And if I just put my my mouse cursor on, you should see that we can't actually engage the autopilot. Every time I try and engage the autopilot, it is taken off because of toga lock. So how can we now sort out the problem? If you've got toga lock displayed, what you have to do is move your thrust levers to the toga position and disconnect the auto thrust. You can use the red buttons here, or you can disconnect it up here. So if I now press that, disconnect it, auto thrust is off, and you immediately need to push the nose forward with your side stick, because what you're trying to do is reduce that angle of attack and get your airspeed back up. Not until you are out of the danger area, this amber pole here on your speed tape, will you be able to re-engage the autopilot. So whilst we just let the speed reinstate itself, this is the reason why you should never climb at high altitude in VS mode, because the Airbus will prioritize the speed you set as the VS speed, the vertical speed, rather than climbing using your aircraft's airspeed to control the rate of climb. And as you can see, it can lead you in a dangerous situation. Okay, so we're now out of the danger area. Let's just level our aircraft back off, and then we're going to just re-engage our flight directors on both sides. Always make sure both of those are turned on, and then once this is done, we can re-engage the autopilot, and we can also re-engage the auto thrust. So if we now pop that back on, it'll tell us to move our thrust levers back to the climb descent. We've done, and that's it. We're nice and safe again. So yeah, if you wanted to climb now to a higher altitude, always use either managed or open climb. So thrust climb, open climb, 380 blue, and this will now climb at a rate, and your speed will never drop below 250 knots. Now, another time that this happens, and I get a lot of people asking me about this, is they tell me they can't engage the autopilot straight after takeoff. And this, again, can be to a combination of reasons, which we've just been looking at, actually. So if we just decide to take off now, so there we go, we've got our usual Manflex SRS runway and auto thrust blue. We're rolling down the runway, and you use your rudder pedals as well, obviously, to try and keep yourself centered on the center line, or your nose wheel steering if you've got a twist axis and you're using that for both your rudder and nose wheel steering. And after takeoff, obviously you rotate, try and put the autopilot on, and if you've still got that rudder input that you were using to try and keep yourself straight on the center line, you won't be able to engage your autopilot. Remember, you can't do that. So if we rotate, and I'm pulling up now and I'm trying to put on the autopilot, right now I can't click it just because it won't let me. Now, another thing, if I now pull back a little bit too much and over rotate too much, our speed drops. We get alpha floor straight away. Auto flight is off, so let me just cancel this, and we're now in exactly the same scenario as we were a little bit earlier on. So we're going to have to move our thrust levers to toga. We've got toga lock set. We want to disconnect the auto thrust, and we just want to lower our nose, regardless of the fact that that means we're no longer going to be climbing so much. That's fine. And this is almost similar to a engine out, one engine departure, because all we're after is a sort of safe level of climb, but what's more important is getting the speed up. Now we've got the speed up, we will be able to get the auto thrust back in, pull the thrust levers back to the climb descent, get your flight directors back on as we're in departure as well. Let's clean up the flaps, and now we can get the autopilot back on as well. So there we go, 2 or 3 reasons why you may be struggling to engage your autopilot in the first place, or your autopilot keeps getting knocked off without the ability to re-engage it. Hope you found the video useful, because I know this is a question I get asked so many times, so I'm really happy to be able to get this video out there to try and show you rather than describe to you what might be happening. If you have found this useful, then please don't forget to leave a like, and if you do have any follow-up questions, please do leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget as well to check out our channel supporters. We have our special EasyJet Sim Pilot 10% discount code for the Contrail store, saving you money on your purchases. So don't forget to use that the next time you're shopping there. Also, InnoBuilds, who have recently released the LAX airport for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. We'll be checking that out on the channel shortly, I am sure. Another fantastic scenery from them, as well, of course, as their recently released Airbus A350. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you're not yet a subscriber and have enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any of our future videos and live stream flights. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again in the next one. Bye bye for now.